I first started riding when I was in junior high and high school. We rode dirt bikes quite a bit. My first actual car was a XR Honda 185 that I took to and from school my sophomore year. My uncle was probably the one guy that I looked up to riding. He'd been riding for years and years. He would probably be the ideal candidate for who I was seeing ride more often than not. When I get out on the bike, I feel free. I don't have any worries. They're all left behind, and it's just an open road ahead for me. I ride for the escape. I like to ride by myself or with my wife. I generally don't ride in big groups because it's an escape for us that we get to go out and see the places that we want to see with no stops or schedules ahead of us. My first Harley Davidson was a 2004 Harley Sportster. Like many, it fit my budget, and that was the first bike that I started riding on day to day as far as Harley Davidson. Through friends, along with my uncle, my friends introduced me first to the brand. They were buying motorcycles around the same time that I was starting to get involved with it more and more. It's an iconic brand, so Harley Davidson means to me, freedom and that escape that I like to be able to enjoy on the weekends when I'm away from work. My favorite Harley Davidson is probably still the Street Glide. Just with the styling and having the fairing in front of me just lets me ride longer and a little bit easier without the wind hitting me right in the shoulders. The bike I own is actually a Ultra Limited, and the reason I have the Ultra Limited is with the Tour Pack, my wife's more comfortable, so if she's happy, she lets me ride longer and more miles.
Happy wife, happy life.
Exactly.
Right?
My favorite ride isn't necessarily in the Idaho Falls area. My favorite ride is actually a little bit farther south. I like to leave Idaho Falls and go south into Logan, up over Logan's Canyon into Bear Lake, and then come back around that way. My most memorable motorcycle trip, probably down through Logan Canyon. A handful of us went down and we ended up spending too long taking side roads and the long way back, and it just happened to be dusk when we were coming back and encountered a mother moose and her calf in the road, which was actually kind of fun just to be able to stop and see. Thankfully, we were able to stop and see it and not run into her. The best advice I would give for somebody looking to buy a motorcycle, especially Harley Davidson, is tomorrow's never a guarantee. You might as well do it today and enjoy life and get out on the roads now before maybe you don't have the opportunity to. Between the first couple Hondas that I owned plus the Harley Davidsons, I've probably owned somewhere between 8 to 10 motorcycles. Currently own 2 now. The roads around here for riding in town and outside Idaho Falls are pretty abundant. You can actually find yourself on the road in any given direction and within 50 to 100 miles be, in the middle of nowhere, whether it's up in the mountains or out on the desert. So as far as riding and what's available, Idaho Falls is a good central point to start from. I think I enjoy most being here, just the small town feel, even though Idaho Falls is a fairly large town by Idaho standards. Idaho Falls offers us a little bit of a hometown niche to where people will recognize you in and out of work, and are always usually pretty friendly. The Harley Davidson customer is just about anybody, whether it's somebody that's been riding for years and years that are on their 10th, 11th motorcycle that go cross country, or you have the guy that likes to just cruise around on the weekends through town from place to place, or even a short 100-mile trip north of town. It's hard to define Harley Davidson's customer because they really can appeal to just about anybody looking for that escape and that getaway. I guess I'd like my customers to know basically that we're here for them. We don't work here because we have to, we work here because we want to, and working for the motor company and Harley-Davidson's been a great opportunity for me to kind of grow personally and within my role as the sales manager here. As far as what I'd want customers to know about us as a whole as a dealership is that our doors are always open. You know, there has always been that feeling of togetherness and family when people come into the store, and we want them to continue to feel that way. I think Harley-Davidson's camaraderie among riders really sets them apart from other brands, being that they're the longest continuing running manufacturer of motorcycles since 1903. You just don't find the family aspect or the camaraderie that you do with Harley-Davidson and other brands. I always recommend our service department here at Grand Teton solely on the fact that Cody, as the service manager, I think does a great job making sure that everyone's able to get scheduled in and get their bikes serviced and fixed in, you know, a good time. As far as Kyle and Jason, I think that the two of them as technicians do an absolutely amazing job making sure that bikes are fixed and serviced correctly so that you're always safe on the road.